Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande, and if you've watched gay porn in the past 12 years, I've definitely helped you get off. So today I have a very, very special guest. He's been a coworker and a friend for a long time. I think we started working together in 2013, 2014?
Yeah, I would think so. That's probably about right.
Yeah, it's been a minute. One of the best models I've ever worked with. Gives you such a great performance. So he's a international porn star, content producer, also now a YouTube star, right? Because you have your own page.
Yeah, that's
you're doing some
slowly building.
stuff.
Just started that a few months ago.
Yeah.
So just for the tarot readings.
Yeah. Please help me welcome Adam Russo, or Adam Keith, which we will go into as well. How have you been?
Oh my God, it's been a roller coaster, really. It's been the past 3 years have been kind of up and down with all kinds of things happening. Some major life-shifting stuff and other things have been really great. And I think the most important thing really for me is my new spirituality and going through that. I think that was the biggest breakthrough. And also going and discovering my acting ability as well, going to these acting classes, doing shorts, getting callbacks, doing all of this. Just another beautiful craft to do. And the funny thing is, when I went into porn, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be an actor. That was never even on my radar. And it was just that people said, oh, you're a good actor, because I did a lot of stuff for, Icon Mail, which is all more,
that's right.
A
little more dialogue driven and
stories. And I'm like, because I had friends who were actors and everything else. So you pick up a little bit of something. And I'm like, oh, and someone's like, I want you to do a series. It was a vampire witch series. And they were really trying to, and it didn't have anything to do with porn. It was just that they were doing the series and they wanted me to be part of it. And I said, well, if I'm going to do this, then I'm going to take some acting classes. And that's when the acting classes started coming in. And that's when my life shifted again.
Yeah.
So, and it's been interesting because, I've been kind of pulling myself out of the porn for the past, I guess, a couple of years now, because I've been trying to go more into the mainstream, which has been happening slowly.
Yeah, last time we did anything was 2017, if I'm not mistaken, in New York. You were still in New York at the time, right?
I was never living in New York. I was always living in Los Angeles.
Oh, why do I think you were in New York?
I visited so much.
Okay, all right.
I was there a lot.
Yeah, it was your second home. Okay. So you've always lived in LA, and the acting bug came after porn.
Well, the funny thing is, I have lived in New York, but not when you and I were together. Okay. Not when you and I met. And I've lived kind of all over the place. I mean, like Philadelphia, New York, Miami, Tucson, Kansas City, San Francisco, and now LA. And I've been in LA for a good, I guess 10 years.
Do you like it?
I love LA. I
miss it. I didn't realize how much I missed it until I came back this time.
It's such a great place. And it's, I did love New York when I was there, and I thought I would never leave New York. And then 9/11 happened, and that kind of shifted things. But, and I still go back, obviously, to New York quite a bit, but I have no desire to live there.
Yeah,
it's so much easier out here.
I'm outside. I'm in New Jersey. I'm based out of New Jersey. I commute into the city for work, and I got to tell you, I wish I didn't. I think I've gotten my fill of New York. Right. So that's why coming here is one of those things where I'm like, wow, man, these people kind of have it right. Like they know it's. People make money here, but it's also their way of life is a little different. I think like it's a little more like they get it.
Yeah, I think about New York is like if you're young and you want to be ambitious, which I was at the time, is like you want to move to New York because you're like trying to make it, And if you're successful, like really successful, I mean really successful, because you have to have a lot of money in New York.
Yes, you do.
or you're wealthy and you move to New York. That's it. It's like that middle ground. Like a little bit older and just not. I mean, you're doing well, but you're not. Yeah. You're not doing New York standards. New York standards is completely a different thing. It's just you need to be making buku bucks to really have a nice lifestyle.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was just talking about that with my partner. How we were driving. We usually fly out of EWR, Newark, and we drove out. We flew out of JFK, and we were driving there, and these huge apartment buildings all over the place. It's just, it's just so many people on top of one another. Right. And do you remember Saxon West, porn star? Yeah. He once told me, he moved to San Diego for a little while. And after living in New York for such a long time, and he was like, I don't know what I was thinking. The people that live in New York don't really live in New York. They have houses there, and they kind of just go there for vacation, if anything, because they have the money to do that. But people that live in New York, you're either bust in and you work, or you're living in like small apartments and stuff. And I don't, it's not a judgment or anything, but and it's for some people, but it's just not for me. Like, it's not, the draw of the city is not that big that would make me want to live in the size of a bathroom apartment and, wall to wall bed. Because that's what it is in a lot of locations.
That's the time. It's like when you're younger and you're really ambitious and and if it doesn't work in that capacity, especially in a lot of the arts, you're there going to be an actor or whatnot, or very hard field to be in, and then you're like closed in these little tiny boxes, and that's why people spend all their time outside, or because nobody wants to go home. Really,
you go there to sleep. Yeah. Jumping back in just for a second, let's dip our toes right back into the porn industry, because people probably want to know where you've been. I know that you've had a Just for Fans page,
Just for Fans, and OnlyFans. Well, the weird thing is, my partner it was his idea to do the Just for Fans, and I was a little hesitant because again I was kind of moving away from that direction, and then it kind of dawned on me that I can just do it anyway. Like, who really cares? And OnlyFans was the only one that was up at the time, and on OnlyFans I could not get my OnlyFans to work. Contacted them. Oh, we'll get back to you. Another week go by. Contact them again. Another week, and I was like frustrated. At that time, Just for Fans came out, so I went with that. Built the content on there, and then Jake went to OnlyFans and built one. So we have both. So the content's the same, it's just the names are different.
Okay.
So that was, when I first started, of course, because I have a bigger name, mine started growing faster. And I also think Just for Fans is a better platform. It's a little bit easier, I think, to navigate for at least for me to upload and things like that. And so, to promote it, and it was fun. I mean, we really got into it and got doing into it, and it's been very profitable. And I like doing it because we don't do dialogue. We fuck or get fucked by who we want.
Yeah.
We have a wide variety of people. We have, black. We have like one Asian.
Yeah.
It's so hard to find Asian, and it's actually hard to find black guys in LA who will film on with their faces shown. So, we do bears, we do hairy, we do smooth, all age ranges, because that's kind of where our taste lies.
Yeah. And you bring this up, and I've said this for a minute, because I was always in the trenches with all the models. And when I'd go to the company that I used to work for, I would say, we have this model, let's use him. Oh, well, we've used him enough. So studios are bent out of shape because of Just for Fans and OnlyFans, but this was so ready to happen because they were basically the expiration, or they provided the expiration date for the models. Yeah. Yet the models still had fans.
Yeah. So the fans weren't done with the models.
Exactly. It was a perfect storm brewing. So if anybody invited this, it was the studios. Yeah. So, everybody just has to learn how to work together with the one. But another thing is you work with whoever you'd like to work. You get to pick, it doesn't have to be this chiseled 8-pack ab, 25-year-old. It's a little bit of everything. And that's another reason why XTube and Pornhub and all that stuff was very, very popular, is because you can see yourself kind of having sex in these people and those situations.
Don't get me wrong, I love a beautiful boy, but sometimes those beautiful boys are not exactly always the best sex either.
It seems rather vacuous sometimes, doesn't it?
But they're not that much fun. The most important thing for us, especially after having sex, is really the connection. And so, yes, you do see dick in a hole, whatnot, but it's really, I want to focus a little bit more on their expressions. Like, I want to see when a bottom is getting fucked, I want to see the expressions on its face. I want to see what's going on. I want to see more of it. And also when we film, we keep the camera moving because your eyes moving, especially with today, everybody's on their YouTube and their phones and everyone's watching clips and everything. So everything is very short attention span. So if you just have a stagnant camera, their attention goes way out the door. Yeah. So you need to keep the eye engaged the entire time.
I have an issue now. I'm working with Treasure Island. I work with Max, who Max was, while I was at Dark Alley, Max was like my main competition, So now I'm working with him. So it's interesting, our vibes are very similar, but also there's just certain ways that we do things differently.
Right.
And my editing style is very boom, 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 because it's like MTV generation editing. You kind of know that it's not only the people that you're editing for, which is, for me, I always think of a younger generation for some reason, but also I grew up watching MTV, so I need, boom, boom. There's certain buttons that you have to hit.
Yeah, it's that very, very sort of musical video.
Yes,
kind of sense.
exactly. So, we butt heads with certain things like that, but also I think, another thing that's going to be really big is, I didn't understand Just for Fans or OnlyFans because I'm used to like 15 to 25 minute scenes. But now when I would go on, I'd find certain models and I'd look at them and I'd be like, I'm curious to see what they're doing. And then some of them have like 4 or 5 minute scenes and I'm like,
Or they're just jerking off and that's it.
Yeah. And some of them just, they do that dick whip, the dick shake and all that. And then they stop their video and that's their video of the day.
And sometimes that's enough. And that's the thing. Some people do that. They do a daily video or they'll do every few days and they'll do something similar to that. We post every 5th day. Okay. But the way we do it is, and then we get whoever we're filming with and we just go at it. Once we set up the cameras or whatever we're doing, we just have fun. And however long the scene runs, it runs. Like we do like to kind of figure out, how, at least getting hopefully 15 minutes down. Yeah. And then if it's going over 30, I split it in 2. And sometimes we're like 50 minutes.
Yeah. That means you're having a fun time.
Yeah. You have like, everyone's having a good time. Yeah. So you have like 25 minutes. And it doesn't mean like the smaller scenes are not as much fun, but it's just, maybe it's, people get more excited and it's, people come. So it's just all very natural in that way. And it's just it's so much more.
So you're a producer now. You're your own producer. How is that different from being just a model?
Well, the funny thing is, I had actually started trying to produce years ago when I was still modeling, and this is before Just Fans, OnlyFans, and that. And you needed somebody who could really work the back end of this because it's all about the back end.
I really wish I had known before that. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think
nuts. It's a whole job unto itself. So you try to pair yourself with somebody who knows all that because I didn't want to be sitting in front of a computer all day.
Yeah, I absolutely wish we had this conversation a couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that you were thinking of that.
Oh, I did it. I tried to do it. It was like I just didn't succeed because I could never find anyone to really do the back end. And we had filmed content for it, and at that time it was Condom at the time because it was kind of like switching over. But it never took off in that way. If the Just for Fans, OnlyFans had been there, I would have used it a long time ago. Yeah. So I know how that is. So I was already starting to produce then, and then I just stopped. I was like, okay, it's not working, and so I just delved into just filming with everybody and traveling the world. And then I was like, hey, I'm going to be in London. And film with Treasure Island. Whoever was there. I'm going to be in New York. Do you have any opens? I'm going to be here because it would also save them usually the flight costs and everything else. Yeah. So, and for me, I would go and do my other things there as well. And so it was just I was using also the filming as a promotional tool for my personal one-on-one.
It definitely helps. I mean, even with that and even with escorting, I would always, we would have models come in and our scene rates, I think, are fair for the amount of time that we have people in a studio.
Yes.
And sometimes we would get people that would, I'm not doing that for that. And I'm like, listen, you're going to be here for an hour and a half tops. You're an escort. So the minute the scene comes up, if you've never done it before, you're going to get more attention. So it's kind of like you're helping each other out here. It's like California studios, they keep you in for 2 days and stuff. They fly you out. They have more money. Good for them. But,
you're really working for your time. I mean, it's a lot of time.
Yes.
And if you balance it out per hour, it's much less per hour.
Yeah.
It really is.
As opposed to walking
you're getting
in.
so much more money. You're really not.
No, it sounds very, a lot of the studios here have prestigious names. They've been around for a minute. But you are working harder.
I mean, there are some studios I saw occasionally. Someone calls me here in LA, and it's easy, and they do well. But it's not like sometimes it's a 3 to 4 hour shoot, and that to me for what they're paying is fine. But there are times I'm like, okay, and I always ask usually, like what. Is it going to be stills? Is this and that? Because I know the timing. I know how. Like, am I going to be doing this? What else do we need to do? The whole thing. The testing procedures for some of these studios. And I'm like, okay, you're getting tested a couple weeks in advance, but you could have gotten something before that. So it's like, I get they're trying to help avoid that. I get it, but it's still, you have so many people that are so sexually active. I mean, the models are sexually active all the time. So it's like,
yeah. You can regulate to a certain amount.
To a certain point, but it's not going to be the end all be all. And thankfully with PrEP now on, and that's great.
Yeah.
So I don't think too many people are really worried about HIV, but because most people are on PrEP, I did come across a performer, I'm not naming names, who was doing Bareback and he was getting tested. They were doing the whole testing thing, but he was not on PrEP. And I said, and he was okay with the supposed negative guys that were tested as opposed to having someone that was undetectable. And I was like, boo. I said, that's really dangerous because the ones that are undetectable are like using a condom. I said, with these boys that just got tested, you don't know if after his test that he just got positive. And that's usually when the viral load is really high.
Yeah.
So, get yourself on PrEP or, know who you're fucking with.
Yeah. So. I would always have models that were very comfortable working with models who were positive but undetectable because of the fact that they were on meds and they knew exactly, what the viral count was, and it was virtually impossible to catch. Yeah. And that's interesting because now studios, I think every single studio at this point is doing bareback porn. But money talks.
It does. And there's still some studios that are still kind of holding the negative guys and the undetectable guys separate, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But they're trying to blend them in now. But I'm like, he's like, well, when we filmed in that, with many studios, like the smaller studios, like to call it, the ones that you're kind of in and out.
Yeah.
There was never that issue. Like we all knew what we were getting to. You already it was going for a hookup. If you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay. You're playing in the sandbox. You got to take care of your own precautions. So be a grown up about it and know where you are with that, what you're doing. So I think that's the most important thing is really. Personal, standing.
Yeah, personal care.
Personal care is the most important thing.
So now, you've worked with almost every studio, right? At this point,
pretty much. The funny thing is that Men at Play and Raging Stallion both hit me up recently, and I've never worked with them, and I wanted to at that time. I turned both of them down. It was just too much of a thing. I'm not trying to be Adam Russo anymore. It was like, oh, we need to fly you here, we need to get tested, and we need this and that. And I'm like,
you're like, oh, brother, I'm over this.
Exhausting.
So now, okay, so we are. Before we go into Adam Keith, I want to ask you a couple questions. What was your, off the top of your head, immediate best experience in porn? I know there's been a lot, but I'm trying, one that you're like, wow, you took a moment and you were like, I can't believe this is my job. I can't believe I'm having so much fun, and I can't believe I'm getting paid for this.
Okay, you give me a second here.
Yeah, no worries. While you do, I will tell.
And by the way, fuck is one of my favorite words. I'm just saying.
Yeah. While you do, I will tell the audience that you are by far, when it came to showing how much pleasure you were having, one of the best models that I've ever worked with, because you just get every single, I always knew whenever a model, and I'm thinking in particular the Tex Davidson scene that you did, and I just spoke to him. I love Tex Davidson.
Yeah.
We did that scene in California.
Actually, I think when you think about it, and I do see that scene pop up a lot. Yeah. It is actually one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, that was fun. That moment, I think in the beginning, I put that first penetration moment, and you throw your head back and your eyes roll. I'm like, this is exactly what I know. I have to zoom out. A lot of people will zoom in to get the penetration shot.
Right.
No, man, you got to zoom out and get the response, because
the dick's going in the hole. I mean,
you can tell when someone's having a good time and when someone's coming in just to get paid.
Yeah.
And at that point, okay, get the close up and get the full penetration. But
Tex is a really sexy man.
Yeah,
and a beautiful dick. And I was like, and unfortunately now, now we're doing Just Fran. He's unfortunately in Texas now, so it's a little bit further away. But we still talk to each other on Twitter and whatnot. And he's really sweet.
Yeah.
But that was really a really wonderful scene. I'd done a lot of scenes with Cutler at the time that we were dating, and I loved those scenes as well. I mean, I love a big black dick up my ass, so I can't tell you. I think the most important thing is that the best thing about all of this is that I was traveling the world, getting paid for sex, and just friggin' enjoying myself. Just the whole scenario of it. You know, bringing home the money, making sure the bills are paid, going to different cities, different countries. You know, just
Yeah.
So much fun.
What's the best advice you can give newer models coming in to the industry? Like something that you've learned or that you can pass on and say, you know.
You know, I think because I have been doing this while, I get a lot of guys saying, "Oh, well, you know, can I be a model?" Or, you know, and then they're sending me a photo without their head.
Yeah, that's always fun, right?
I'm like, first of all, sweetheart, you got to be really comfortable with yourself, with showing your face, knowing what you're doing. I said that's the first thing. Second of all, this is an industry and it's a job, and yes, it can be lots of fun, but it is a very different thing than you hooking up with some guy in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. And I always mention that. I was like, Gwen, what are you trying to get out of this? Mm-hmm. Is this going to be something you're going to make money? Is this just something you're doing to say, so you're a porn star? Like, and I love when people do like 2 scenes for like a porn star. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, I don't even call myself a porn star. I hate that name. But
you've earned it though. I mean,
yeah, I've been in the industry long enough that I can say, okay, yeah, I guess I am a porn star. Yeah. But it's like, like, what are you going in? What's the dynamic for you? So these are things to remember, because when you're out there in the public, especially nowadays, you can't retract your image. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. Once it's out there, it's out there. So you got to be completely and utterly okay with that as well. Because you're not going to be able to say to a studio, can you take that down? Even the studio does take that down. That image, that video has been copied somewhere
Someone's
else.
Downloaded it. Someone's put it up. It's forever.
It's forever. It's out there.
Yeah.
It's not going to hide. Mm-hmm. You know. So you really, really got to remember that. And I think those are the most important things. If you're going to be in, you know, again, in front of the camera, know that it's also performance. Mm-hmm. If you're going like silent, there's quite nothing, or you're just like, honey, that doesn't play for the camera.
Yeah.
Might be fun in the bedroom with your lover or whatever, but nobody can hear you.
Mm-hmm. Play it up.
You know, you need to realize that you're still performing as well. Mm-hmm. So there's this balance of like being able to enjoy yourself and to know that you're still performing. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the key. And any of the really good guys that are out there have been for the longevity. They either have something about them, like the particular physique and that, but even physiques and big dicks aren't enough. Mm-hmm. Those, the ones that are successful, bring something to the table. They're there performing. Mm-hmm. They're having a good time. They're making you want to be there. Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about Adam Keith and the development of Adam Keith. Adam Keith is different from the YouTube page, or is it?
Adam Keith is different, separate from YouTube. YouTube page, because it's still the same name now. But I became Adam Keith because I'm going into the mainstream acting world, mm-hmm. and I'm not denying that I've been Adam Russo. It's just that I don't want people Googling my name and suddenly all my porn comes in. I'm mm-hmm. trying to get you to look at my acting. Mm-hmm. Not my dick. Yeah. So there's a difference there. That's why, you know, I changed it. And so going in with a new name, I have actually 3 Facebook pages. One for my birth name, one for my Adam Russo, and one for Adam Keith. And so I was using that for, you know, again, for my acting, for when mm-hmm. I go to auditions, when I go to acting class. And that's actually the name I'm using all the time now. And I kept both names, you know, the same name, so that it wouldn't get confusing. Mm-hmm. You know, suddenly call me Adam and I'm calling myself Steve. It's not going to work. Yeah. You know, so people can understand that. So that made it easier moving into that. So I was actually going to acting classes, doing shorts and all that, and that's still progressing, and it's progressing nicely. I mean, I really feel very confident about it this time, and my acting is so much. I mean, it's improved. Like, just I love what I'm doing. I really love it. And that's the thing is too. You have to really have a passion for whatever you're doing, whether you're going to be fucking or going to be acting or painting or doing accounting, for that matter. And then I just decided over the time. When my partner had broken up with me the first time, that's another story. I went through a whole spiritual thing. It was everything broke down. Like, I went through a dark night of the soul. I mean, seriously, I was not eating. I was not sleeping. I would sleep for about 3 hours a night and wake up. I was a living zombie. And it was the breakup. It was so much. And don't get me wrong, this wasn't the drug thing. I don't do drugs and everything. This was just all very emotional, getting through a hell of a lot. Mm-hmm. And it was months, and we were separated for 8 months and trying to get him back and everything else. And he was going through his own shit. And I eventually turned, like, I was really working on myself spiritually. And my tarot reader, my psychic, is the one that helped me through all this. He was my therapist, basically. Like literally my therapist. If without him, I don't know what I would have done. And I would say about 98% of the stuff that he said came true. Stuff that I didn't like, no, that's never going to happen, came true. Like he predicted. I was like, so I use him all the time. But now, so in that course of that time, I was also listening to a lot of other readers because it was like therapy to me. It was like to relax and rejuvenate and say everything's going to be okay. So I was watching a lot of different readers and I was learning to pick up the cards. Now, I had tarot readings many times throughout my life, and I loved it. So I was working this, and when I had the tarot readers before, tarot readers would tell me that you can read you can read these cards. So I already had this sort of gift anyway, and I'm actually writing a book as well. It's about sort of a fictional autobiography actually. So it's about good and evil. Okay. Because I've had a lot of experiences through my life. Some very bizarre experiences. And so after watching all the tarot readers, I was starting to pick up the cards and how to read them. And then I finally bought myself a deck, and I didn't really kind of use it. I was just kind of there. And finally I decided to do a couple of readings, and then it was just right. Something told me that it was time to start reading. And I decided to do the YouTube channel, and it's been about 4 months now. Or maybe 4 or 5 months now. And I do a weekly for every sign and a monthly for every sign. And I tell you, I love it. Like, I just love doing the readings because the thing is that you don't have somebody there. I do personal readings too, which is a little bit different because somebody's asking you questions. But when you're doing just an open general reading for a sign, you don't know. It's like it won't resonate with everybody, of course. And you want everybody to have a wonderful reading. Like you want it to be unicorns and rainbows. You really do. And there's sometimes when there's terror moments and things happening. Yeah. And it's like, but that's life. That's what life unfortunately is. It's all these lessons and things that we have to go through. So it's like kind of counseling and like saying what's going on and say, okay, but there's a light at the tunnel here. Like, but this is what you need to do. You need to keep your energies balanced. You need to keep your energies high because if you're in these low energies of doubt and regret and sadness, and that's exactly where you're going to stay. And you're not going to manifest the things you really want. So it is really about that. So I feel really good about doing this. So that's been growing. I've been doing personal readings as well, which is always beautiful. I love helping somebody. Yeah. And some people come in and they don't bother to really say anything. They'll give me a thing and I'll be like, and they're just being really quiet because they want to see, is this real or not?
Yeah. Can you really do it?
And I'm like reading the cards and they're like, oh my God. I'm like, this is what's happening. I'm not psychic trying to make up things in my mind. The cards come out in a certain way. And that certain cards have many different meanings, but still the way they're with other cards and et cetera, and then in their placements. And I don't do regular like Celtic placements in that. I do much more almost free form. And it's kind of what I enjoy because I've watched many different tarot readers and some do use Celtic and other forms and others are free form and everyone does it differently. But the stories, it's interesting when you watch a lot of different tarot readers, like say for your sign at the time, the ones you gravitate towards, their energies, what they're saying is pretty much the same, pretty much spot on. It's bizarre. It's like they're pretty much telling you the same story.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So if you ever do that, look at it like, and you'll gravitate to it. You'll like kind of know if this is the person for you or not. It's just weird. You just kind of know. So, but if it's someone that you feel like you gravitate, you're watching your sign, and then you're watching another one you feel you gravitate, they're pretty much almost about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do like Skype stuff?
I do. For personal readings, I have people, of course, come here at the house if they're here. If they're in the U.S. or Canada, somewhere where I can FaceTime, then I'll do that. I haven't really gotten to the Skype thing.
FaceTime.
I can do WhatsApp too.
Okay.
WhatsApp also works. So that way it makes it more general for the worldwide. I'm trying to stick for the FaceTime just kind of US, Canada, because you start going to like, Dubai, then it's a time shift.
Yeah.
Like, when am I going to be doing this reading? 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
So that makes it a little bit difficult.
Just getting up.
Yeah. So I can do a taped reading for you. You can ask me the questions, then I'll do a taped reading. That's fine. But yeah, so try to do it because you're dealing with the world market. Yeah. So and you got to remember that even if you're going to porn, we're dealing with a world market.
Yeah. You got to translate well. Let me ask you a question because your spiritual side and you've gotten metaphysical. You've gotten like, do you? I think right around the time I turned 30, I started thinking about one moment in particular where I was taking a nap and I woke up and. I said to myself, one day I will never wake up. Have you had like moments like that? where you realize your mortality, or you've embraced the human condition?
It's interesting because, that's always a story. Like, one of the psychology things that they do is one of those tests is like, picture yourself in a white room with no windows or doors. How do you feel? That's basically the test for death, like how you feel about death. And some people feel anxious, then they're not, like, I always felt very comfortable with it.
I think
because
that makes me feel peaceful.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool.
So the thing is like, for me, because the only thing is I hate pain. I hate pain, like not being able to, that just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But the death, not an issue for me, because I know that my spirit will live on. Like this particular shell will be gone. And we're here for many different incarnations right now. Like there's a big struggle energetically going on right now. And this is a big shifting year coming up. This is actually a really important year. So, and the funny thing is you can really see it playing out on the world stage.
Yeah.
It's I don't even, and then there, people like doubt this. They doubt, well, the energies and like angels and everything else, or whatever you want to call it. Like I call it the universe. I don't call it God, because God to me has too many stiff shit attached to it, to like Catholic churches and that, and the patriarch and the control mechanisms. So, but these things exist. There's all these spiritual realms. We live in multiverses, dimensions, and this is what science is saying. So this isn't just me and like the ethereal. This is science. The poles are shifting. It can be measured. The magnetic spheres are changing and letting more sun rays in, which is actually just communication, more light rays. So. And light is very interesting in itself. Light does a lot of things. Everything is energy. Everything. This table, me, you, it's all atoms spinning. It is all an illusion. It's just energy. Yeah.
It's all an illusion. It's absolutely right.
And the Schumann resonance, which is the vibration of the earth, has been going up and spiking. The energy of the earth is actually rising. And that's what we're doing now too. This is the whole point. That's why you're seeing all this like fucking crazy shit on the world stage. Yeah. You're seeing everything that's being exposed that has been wrong. I mean, you really, every time you look, it's like this, that, pedophilia, like anything in your life. People have been going through shifts. People have been like everything. People moving. You just ask people. They're like, "What do you been?" They're like, "Ah." Yeah, and this is a really important time. So I opened this channel because I also wanted to help other people. Through that, I wanted to help them get through these times too.
When someone's looking for you, right, where are they going to go to look for you?
If they just go to YouTube, just put in Adam Keith, I should pop right up, and then my email is there. It's either in my description box in the videos, or you can go on the YouTube page and in the about section. There's the email, my about the fees and that for the thing, but. If you just go into Adam Keith YouTube, you can watch the videos, the free videos for the monthly and the weekly.
You have a good following too.
Yeah, it's picking up. I mean, it's over 1,000. It's like it's about 1,100, which is interesting because it's not as big as a following in some of the other things. Like when you take your clothes off, you get some of the bigger following.
I mean, you do. I make documentaries and stuff on the side, and I'm trying to help the world, and my following is like 37 in my moonlighting job. In my poor job, I'm up to like 27, which is still nothing because I haven't taken any clothes off. There are models that
I for 27.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think. Well, I've been doing it for a minute, so I feel like when I say I've been helping you get off, I've definitely helped people get off. For me, it's not about the director, it's not about the producer. Yes, we're putting it together and we're making sure stuff happens. You guys are feeling comfortable and stuff. You guys are hitting it out of the park. This is therapy as well.
It is.
Like you are providing such a service.
It is
to people. They're paying for it, but they're also. It's just like body work. It's just like anything else. It's psychology.
They're having a good time. They're enjoying themselves. People say, I was just thinking of them. I'm like, were you touching yourself?
I was just thinking about you. Yeah. There's something to be said about the work that we do, and I think it's being taken a little more serious the more we get into it and the more mainstream it is.
Hey, I think again, like I provided. Because people are like, some people, very few people now, but, people did think of like porn, blah, 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 like, blah, blah. Honey, how many people have you made happy today? Yeah. Seriously.
That's a good way to look at it.
Seriously, how many people have you made happy today? How many people have been in ecstasy and happy? Yeah. How many people have you made that? Really, tell me.
Yeah, I've had, I have friends that work in government jobs. I have friends that work in all this stuff. And for a long time, they looked down on me because of the fact of what I did. But I'm like, dude, I'm traveling. I'm not, I'm not a model per se, but I'm traveling. I'm meeting a whole bunch of people. I'm having a good time. Do you travel for work? No, you're probably just stuck in an office. And, that's probably working for you, but don't pass judgment on shit like that. Yeah. And I'm sure, these are the same people that would come to the office and ask for free DVDs whenever they could. So, you're doing just the same thing. You might not think it's the same thing, but you're partaking in the entire structure of this. You are a consumer, if anything. Yeah. What do you expect from the new year?
Oh my God. Since this next big change just happened really over the Gemini full moon, which happened on December 12th, I told you about my tower moment earlier today, and getting through that, I really do think this is going to be very transformational. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I just feel that things are going to open up. I think it is, and I tell people this, is like the people that have been doing the work on themselves, whether it be spiritual or whatever, if you've been working on yourself in some capacity or working at something in a good way for the benefit of more of the general public, and because some people are very selfish, and that's not going to play out nowadays. So you're going to have an easier time in 2020. It's probably going to be a very transformational time for you. The world stage is going to be a bit of a mess. The better energies are gaining ground now, and it may not look like that, but they are. But if people are resisting the change, resisting, things, you see all this racism coming up, and all this stuff about people can control everything, and about, these billionaires taking all the money, and that's there's going to be lots of tower moments. It's going to be a lot of change, and it's not going to be that good. You're going to have your own tower moments. Now, they're all playing their part. Everyone here is playing their part. Donald Trump is playing his part, even though he doesn't know it. Okay, he was the catalyst for a lot of things to get things exposed. He is a savior? No, he's an egotistical liar. But everyone's playing their part, and everyone here is to go up in vibration. Everybody has that ability. Everybody is supposed to. So no one's like, completely evil. People can have times where they're like, oh my God, yes, I see the light now. Truly see the light. Not bullshit like blah, blah, blah. And for those who don't, are going to wind up going to jail and things like that, and things are going to be happening. They may eventually, wake up because they're going to be going through their tower moments, and others will not. They'll be mirrored in this lower vibrational energy. But the energy of the masses is changing. We're going to the age of Aquarius. Yeah. It's about the people. Yeah. So, yeah.
I always love talking to you. I'm glad that we got to sit down and do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, if you want to look for Adam Russo, you can look for Adam Russo, but you can look for Adam Keith. I think Adam Keith has got a lot he's offering to the world right now.
This is the new version.
This is 3.0, 4.0. But you can find him on YouTube under Adam Keith. Do you have a Twitter page for Adam Keith?
I do, but I don't really use it right now. I'm going to be using it later. There is one there. The Adam Russo Twitter is used more often. And I do have an Instagram, and that is I am Adam Keith. And that's my Instagram. Again, I post the uploads for the weeklies, and occasionally I'll give you like a shirtless photo, got to feed the need.
Yeah,
gotta
of course.
Feed the need,
Too funny. So you can find him on YouTube. You can find him on Instagram. You can still find him on Twitter under his other name if you want to, if you want his help in a different way.
Yeah, if you wanted the Just for Fans.
Yeah,
if you want to look at
that's
the Twitter,
right. Just for Fans.
Go to the Adam Russo, Triple X, and it'll all be there.
You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I am your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, Discord. And if you like what you're watching and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifyinggayporn, where you can help support this channel and I can continue making content like this. Once again, this is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. Cheers.